And welcome everybody to episode 19 of Boxed In with Friends. We're actually using the StreamYard's platform, so that's good. Trying things out, so forgive us if there are some weird hiccups. I don't even know if we're on YouTube. We might not be on YouTube. Someone double check while I vamp, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is our 19th episode, guys. That's insane. If I was a hacky comedian, I would make some joke about us being able to drink in Canada, but I will not make that joke. Can you guys all hear me? Everyone's being very quiet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see it.
Okay.
That wasn't enough time. I thought I gave myself enough time to send the links out. But...
Send the links out. If you're watching this, share it. Boxing with Friends, just a group of friends getting together every week to talk about shit, to have guests on, and to listen to some music, live performances. I'm your host, Tony Augusti, with Kyle O'Neill, Jacob Russell, Andy Maz, Katie Seamus. Kate and Nick couldn't make it tonight, but they are here in spirit, which means they're not here if you're an atheist. But I'm not, so they're here in spirit. Oh, Jake, you were wearing your hat before you weren't, and we were like, we like the way your hair looks, but you hate it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. My family all hate, my hair is grown out, my family all hates my hair. Yeah. And they're like, it's too long, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? What were you saying, Andy?
I was going to ask if they don't like it because it looks unkempt.
Maybe. It's just, I think they don't like the length of it, you know. And I don't want to grease it back.
Does it make you look like a hippie?
I guess. I do believe in free love. I'll never pay for it, ever.
Yeah. That's why they hate it. They don't fuck with love.
Yeah, they believe in paid love. By the way,
arranged love.
Indian Matchmaker on Netflix right now. I'm not watching it because it's going to get me triggered. So let's go to our first topic. We were talking about before the show something called digital blackface, and it's I don't know if it's something that people are aware of, but Andy, talk about, because you're reading an article about it. Can you talk about what it is?
Yeah, so in this article it says digital blackface is when non-Black people use images and voices of Black individuals to explain emotions or phenomena. It's when people use images to, well, then it goes on to say it's when people use images to claim Black identity, but they don't identify as Black.
Yeah,
and basically it's saying it's not a good thing and not to do it.
And what I've heard it mean is something like, I'm showing some examples on the screen here, is like, images that are used of Black people in memes are like almost as caricatures, you know, like Sweet Brown Below, and then this is the guy that's like, you know, you can't, you know, you don't have to worry about absentee ballots if you never vote, like that kind of thing, you know, like, so were you guys aware of this? Something I've heard of, and do you think it's a real thing? Or I mean, like, well, I don't know if it's a real thing, but is this going too far, or is it just people looking for a reason to? Are we getting too far on the margins of racism? Who's going to be the brave one that speaks first?
I mean, I brought it up because I'm curious, because obviously I don't want to be offensive, you know. But like I was saying, like the other day, I meant to send a high five gif, and there was one that I found that was fun with like Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Carlton, and they were high-fiving, and then I didn't end up sending it because of that article that I read, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be offensive. So, and then, yeah, that's bringing this topic up.
Yeah, Jake, go ahead.
The fuck, man. This is every time I turn around, it's new dumb shit, like what, like crazy shit. It's like, wow, digital blackface, like you know. I don't know. I can appreciate the people like saying, like, I don't know who initiating this. I don't know if the Black community initiated this or if it's white annoying white liberals initiating it. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's coming from. But
it's a good question.
But I do think this. I honestly think it's a bit far. Like if a white person wants to use a GIF to express something Like, I mean, what? Like, why does it have to be like in the use of someone black? Like, why does it have to be racist? And like, real talk, you really don't know if it's racist because you don't know what's in that person's mind when they're using it anyway. Really, so I don't know. I think in general it's not, but y'all know, you never know. I guess it depends on what this person doing. Like, are they trying to be like a cool, like, are they trying to be cool and be like, oh, this is cool. Let me look up a black to be cool or some shit.
Appropriation.
Yeah, something like that.
Caitlin, you had something to say?
Well, I mean, like, I guess I understand, like, if it's coming from, like, posting something that is, like, in a poor or negative or stereotypical type of, like, you know, thing. But, like, for me, it's, like Jake was saying, like, so if I post a picture of, I'm just going to use the example because it's very relatable, but if I use a GIF or a picture of Beyonce that has a meme or whatever, that's also considered digital blackface.
Well,
I don't know. Kyle, go ahead.
Supposedly, yeah. But it's basically saying if you're not black and posting a black GIF, that's digital blackface. Or maybe that's just the extreme. You know, maybe it's there's various degrees. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that, like, I feel at some point like it's going too far, because you can like, you should be able to relate with black people and show emotion via GIF or GIF or whatever you want to call it, like that.
It's GIF. Thank you.
Thank you. That's what I like to say, but some people say GIF.
So it is GIF.
I have heard GIF.
The creator of it says GIF, but he's an idiot. It's GIF.
Yeah, okay, I agree. Yeah, the people that create things.
Wait, what the fuck? The creator of it, the creator said GIF.
No, he's wrong.
Yeah, I like GIF.
It's a GIF. GIF is peanut butter, okay?
Yeah, GIF is peanut butter.
Also,
We've just appropriated GIFs.
And a GIF is something you give to somebody you love. A GIF.
Yeah.
it has a T.
So what the fuck? That GIF has a T. God damn it.
Also, Beyonce is Italian, not black.
Oh, right.
What is that?
That's like a QAnon thing.
Oh,
Well,
is it really?
It's someone running for representative in Florida, like, made this huge post that Beyonce was actually Italian, and it was planned by, like,
Yeah,
Oh my god.
completely absurd. Like, not even her. They're like, this is her real legal name, and it's not.
And also, you can be Italian and black.
It's true.
I mean, yeah, if you're black and you're born in Italy, you're
Yeah.
Italian, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Man.
No, that's exactly right.
So even if she was, that's fine.
But yeah, so back to the hot topic. It just leaves it like. So if I, like, me posting something that I feel I'm like, oh, I'm amplifying a voice or something, even if it's not a meme, like, does that go as far as, like, if I post a picture of, like, I don't understand. Like, I guess it's just unclear, I guess. As to,
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to post, because it's like I think we're kind of working through what it is, and it's, to me, if it's something that's like a caricature, because that's something I've definitely noticed, like people posting things of, like, you know, black people, like the one I think of is like, y'all need Jesus, you know, kind of just. But again, I don't know if it rises to the level of, like, racism, or is it like stereotyping black people. But I this is an argument I've been heard for years.
Yeah.
I think at the most it's like sorry. I think at the most it could be like appropriation at the most, but I don't see it as racism, really. I just don't.
Yeah.
But it depends on what that person's thinking when they post the shit at the same time. So I don't know.
Yeah, the intention behind it.
Yeah.
Right. I feel it can go, like, as far as, like, you know, people loving black culture but still taking part in systemic racism.
Yeah.
Also, I want to know because I know there's like academic articles and essays written about digital blackface, and I want to know what the argument there is, because I'm unclear on what that is.
Well, the argument is that it's using memes to like make caricatures of black people, like that posting someone of like Sweet Brown, which I showed before. She's the one. I forgot now. Let me see. What does she actually say in there?
Is it something about apartment burning down?
Yeah, that's just like sweet Jesus, there's a fire. That's who Sweet Brown is.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus, there's a fire.
Comes down to intention then.
Yeah, so that's one I see a lot. So is that making fun of black people? Like, that thing where they talk about sometimes, and I've seen shows like In Living Color, and I don't know if like Saturday Night Live, they did it with white people, which is kind of interesting, showing like how they pull like the dumbest people, like if there's like something going on, they'll pull like people that just seem like idiots, like, and put them on camera. And the point is to make them look stupid as opposed to actually like filling out a news story. Again, I don't know. Like, if you think digital blackface is a thing, I guess post examples in the comments, guys, and or post if you think if it's a thing or not, or if this is just getting out of control. We're kind of I don't think we've reached a consensus in the group, but it is an interesting question, because I think we're looking at everything more carefully nowadays with what's going on. I think there's a new age of like sensitivity. I don't know what's the best way to put it.
Also, systemic racism is going to exist online too, so that could be part of it.
So wait a second. It's systemic, not systematic racism. It's not systemic. Systematic's not a word.
It's gifsistic.
It's GIF.
Yeah.
Gifsistic.
Yeah.
No, this is not a bit. This is serious. So systematic. Systematic's not a word, right?
No, systemic.
Systemic.
Yeah.
I say systematic. Systematic.
I don't know if systematic is a word.
I don't know, man. Whatever.
That sounds like a hip hop group from the 80s, like Stetsasonic.
Stetsasonic. That's Stetsasonic.
Yeah, I know, but systematic. That was like their opening group.
I don't know. I go off that E40 and Fabulous song. Automatic, systematic.
Yeah.
I also just saw a video or read an article recently that was saying that how whitewashed the story of George Washington Carver making peanut butter is, and like he did for
really, how so?
That's so fucked, and I had like no idea, and it's insane to me.
Can you explain how it's whitewashed?
Well, because like, for example, in school, I learned that George Washington Carver was like known for inventing peanut butter. Mm-hmm. And when you you went to Greenfield Village, I remember going and someone reenacting, and like they did like a thing, and someone was playing George Washington Carver, and he like shows how he made peanut butter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
okay,
he was like hugely like involved with like agriculture, and like none of that's talked about.
Yeah, like I don't know that I have to look up the specifics, but like he like made like huge agricultural breakthroughs.
Yeah, that's how I know him. I never heard that he invented. Yeah, I never heard that. I was a weirdo that read a lot though.
Yeah, I heard. I heard a lot of stuff about him too, like other than just the peanut butter.
Yeah, I heard that he came up with more than 100 different uses for the peanut.
Yeah,
but I never heard that he invented peanut butter. That's so interesting.
I know about the, like,
he also did that.
But I also know him for other things. But I ain't trying to.
Yeah.
Do that. I ain't trying to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I ain't trying to do nothing negative, but like, there's a lot of stuff in history. I don't know.
Oh, there's bad stuff about George Washington Carver?
Not necessarily, not bad stuff. Just one particular thing. It was in my one-man show, if you saw it, but whatever.
Yeah, I did, but I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
I was probably in the bar getting drinks.
He was against abolition, which kind of fucked up.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
but he was post-abolition, wasn't he?
Hmm?
Wasn't he post-abolition? I mean, post-slavery?
Nah.
Oh, he wasn't? Okay.
Nah.
Well, see, my history sucks. Well, I'm surprised you brought that up, Jake. That was a really terrible thing to say. Anyway, going on to the next topic. The pandemic. I can't believe we've done 19 episodes. That's coming up on 5 months of shows. That's strangely sad. So the question is, there's still a lot of shit you cannot get during the pandemic. So that's hot topic number 2. Jake, we were talking earlier this week, or last week, and he was talking about how he can't get a bike, or like wait for him to get a new bike will be like a long ass time. What stuff that like we talked about, and also guns, strangely. So if you want to ride around and shoot a motherfucker, you gotta wait. I guess like sales of guns are skyrocketing. I've never thought of owning a gun, and I've definitely thought of buying a gun, but it looks like it doesn't matter because it would be hard to get anyway. Any of you own guns, if you're comfortable saying, and would you own a gun?
I can't think of a good use for me to have a gun.
No, there's no way.
I could pass all the background checks, but I would definitely like shoot up a school or some shit.
I have one.
You do?
Oh, okay.
I do. Yeah. A few years ago, I went out with this like self-defense like guru guy, and he basically like just talked me into getting one, and I got one, but it's like one part is somewhere and one part is somewhere else because it makes me nervous having it. So it's like I got it to like appease him, but I don't ever see myself using it, honestly, because I could see probably more things going wrong than it doing.
So when you say martial art, when you say martial arts, that's like, or I mean self-defense, you mean martial arts, right?
Yeah, he was a cage fighter.
Oh, okay. And yet he still wanted you to have a gun. That's interesting. You would think someone would be like these are my weapons, and stuff. But he's like, no,
but he was all he was about all things self-defense. So like we would go to the gun range and like, he taught me how to shoot and stuff like that.
Kyle?
So I know how to shoot one.
I just wanted to circle back because I got cut off. I wouldn't actually shoot up a school. I'm just making a statement on how ridiculous the background check and how lax it is.
I think Kyle is sensitive because of what happened before.
And apparently,
what happened?
Oh, about how I showed porn on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not well received.
But apparently there's a workaround. Like if you get it at like Gibraltar Trade Center or something, then there's no background check or anything.
Of course, you can
gun
get a
shows,
gun
gun shows. Yeah.
My rule is don't ever buy a gun at the same place you can get a tattoo and baby clothes.
Right.
Right.
Or be able to pet a bear.
Yeah.
No one needs a gun because whoever has the gun out first is going to win. So
maybe.
I
don't know what to make of that.
The thought of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The thought of it is scary. I'm not comfortable with that. And I mean, it was like already a big enough deal, but I was carrying around a knife. It's like, that's as much as I can handle.
I'd rather have a bike.
The fact that it can it kills someone, it can I don't know, take a life. I don't know. That's like,
yeah. I'd rather have a bike. How long did they say, Jake? How long was the wait for your bike if you wanted to buy a new bike? What did they tell you?
You say that again? I'm sorry.
How long did would it take for you to get a bike if when you went to the bike shop?
How long would it take me to get a bike? They said saying really gonna get no new shipments in, like a bunch of them into like October and shit.
Oh wow. Okay.
Seriously?
Well, pandemic.
They said they're getting they randomly get they're randomly getting stuff in, but they're not gonna get like fully stocked like they are probably not till like October. It's gonna be very scarce till like October, but that's what one bike shop says about their particular shop.
What's crazy is my dad works in the car business, and he is the F&I manager in the used lot. And he is selling on average 6 to 7 cars a day.
A day?
If not more. My dad.
Well, how many does he usually sell? Well, I should ask that question.
It just depends. I mean, that's a lot for a day, like to close deals. But so like he had like 8 deliveries today. But that being said, when they run out of cars, they're out of cars. They have no new cars coming in. So everything that they have on their lot, new and used, as of right now, is all that they have. So, and it's happening with like tons of dealerships right now.
Yeah, that really surprises me because it's like, I feel like obviously people have to drive for work, but there's so many people at home. So you would think there would be less cars being sold.
Yeah, no.
But also,
maybe people don't want to take public transportation.
Right. People don't want to take public transportation. Some people that were making decent money were in an okay position and they're making unemployment and they can afford to get a new car or whatever.
Or maybe they're doing Uber or Postmates.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, even when they were closed, he was like getting people were like contacting the dealership looking for cars.
All right. Well, looks like our guest is here. Kyle, you want to introduce him?
Yeah, let's I'm getting a phone call. Stop it.
Hey, what's up, Eli? Your friend Kyle is getting a phone call.
Yeah, no.
I guess he has one of those phones you can't mute.
I don't know how to mute it. You know, this is a revolution for us all. We're trying to figure out.
I know. I'm busting Kyle's
stand-up
balls,
comedian, friend of mine. Hi, Eli.
Eli Olsberg, everybody.
Hey, Eli.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Tony. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. How's it going?
Good. Oh, you guys have like a small crawl at the bottom. I feel like I'm talking head on the news right now.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter, against or for, Eli? That's the issue.
I'll do it exactly like a pundit. Well, it's a nuanced position. I don't know. Is this a time for empathy, or should we just walk into traffic? That's my hot take. I'm just kidding. Black Lives Matter. Absolutely.
So where are you calling from, Eli?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. So you're near Kyle, presumably.
Yes. Yeah. Kyle and I have right before the pandemic, we hung out, right? Like that was probably a month before.
Yeah.
Is my math right?
Yeah, we got lunch. Yeah, it's probably a month before, and I came to you host a monthly show, and I came to that a couple times since I've been here.
Yes, I think you came to the last one, like the day before the pandemic, before everything like shut down. Was the last show. That's the last time I did live comedy. At least like 2 live people, and which was in March. Does that sound right to you? Were you there?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's just crazy because I expected from that afternoon, I was like, oh, the show might not happen tonight. But then I thought, I also had just finished booking an entire tour for the year that day.
Oh, wow.
And so I was kind of in denial about so I was like, they're not going to cancel the show tonight. I might have to like miss a few shows and they might get postponed, but that's okay because I'll have more shows at the end of the year. And obviously, none of that happened. And so I do have a monthly show to circle back to that. And the night before Corona became real, that we were there, and nobody was like. The only thing some people did was put some, just like hand sanitizer on and went on stage. The simpler kind.
Yeah, very strange. And you host or you did host. I don't know. I hope it still goes on once this all ends. But it's called Performance Anxiety.
Yes, and it's at the Pleasure Chest, which is a sex shop in West Hollywood. It's monthly. Yeah. I hope it's happening too when this is over. I also host 2 podcasts that are also on hiatus. This should be ideal time to record it, but one of them's so heavy that, like, in terms of topic, that I felt like it's counterintuitive to host it. I guess I should say what it's called.
Yeah.
It's called Closure, the podcast that never ends, and I interview guests on whatever topic they want to talk about. It could be a personal, like a story, an event, or a lifelong thing they're dealing with, or a medical condition, and relate it to the concept of closure and if it exists. So having it during a pandemic feels like it could either be the best thing to do or the worst. I haven't decided yet.
What would you say is like the heaviest episode of that show, like topic that you've dealt with?
That's a great. There's that's like an 8-way tie because people talk about it, like the way the show starts. It can start with anything like a light topic about sobriety. Well, that's not a light topic. What's a better example of a light topic there? Because it can go anywhere from like sobriety to you guys ever be so that's me doing stand up as like a light topic. You guys ever been sober?
Yeah.
So sobriety is different for men and women.
Men are sober like this. Women are sober like this.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of another topic that because I had a friend who talked about like just a casual romance that he had over the summer, and it kind of informs his entire dating life now. And it was like a very short term thing. And so the episode starts as like this kind of idea of like the one that got away, and it opens up an entire thing about how it informs up till now the rest of his life. So that's like what seems like a light topic but becomes heavy. So that's why I say it's like a complete tie for every topic. I guess if objectively you step back, the sobriety ones are pretty heavy. I mean, there's episodes where there was one episode that talks about assault. So I think it's heavy duty across the board. That's kind of the reason I was like putting it on hold, because I'm like, how do I even define closure in a pandemic? So at the same time, I was tempted to keep it going because I wonder if that also makes people make their problems not smaller, but like able to deal with it easy, like maybe have a new point of view on it.
It's like cathartic to be able to have that.
Yeah. I think it because I think right now what I talk to a lot of my friends about is the idea of like how people kind of pursue forgiveness and approach it. And I feel like now people are redefining that because, everything is falling apart and who knows what the outcome is going to be. So I think it makes like, not all heavyweight topics, but I think there's like, you're right, it's cathartic. There's like a sense of release there.
Yeah, for sure.
That people didn't have before. And then the other podcast I host that's just on hiatus for logistical reasons is called Plot as a Woman, where me and another comic named Teresa Lee did a track-by-track breakdown of Ariana Grande's last 2 albums. So that's very niche.
Okay. But it seems like there's...
Caitlin just lit up.
For some people who, if anyone wasn't paying attention or whoever's watching missed that for a second, there were 2 modes happening as I said that. There was a handful of people who were indifferent and one person who got very excited.
Yeah, looks like you're going to have a subscriber to 2 of your podcasts.
Oh, wonderful! Oh, that's I came on here to get more subscribers. I got 1. I win. I'm out.
There you go. Yeah.
Bye, guys.
So you're a touring comedian, as you said, and
Yeah.
you and Kyle met together on tour, or is
Yeah.
that how you get to know each other?
That is how we met. Yeah, we met at I think the night we actually met. Well, I don't think you guys were in town actually when that happened, but were you guys at the CD release party for Resurrection?
No, unless it was on that tour, then I don't think so.
No, it was before. It was like 2 days before the tour started. We met. I got asked to open for New Found Glory as a comedian, and Fireworks was support on that tour, and they were hanging out. Also, I think your musical guest today was also on the back. Like I only did 1 show that they were on. Yeah, at the Vegas show, which was my best show. I actually remember that show very well because I crowd surfed while I told a joke.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the audience to play along with it.
I was gonna say that seems like one of the most difficult situations as a comic, opening for people that aren't really there to see comedy. So what was that experience like? Because you guys were on the Warped Tour together, right? Or I know they had a comedy tent.
We weren't together, but Eli was on the Warped Tour.
Warped Tour in the comedy tent.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with that? Because that's not a normal route, as far as I know, with comics opening for bands. I might be wrong about that, but
no, you're absolutely right. It did have a moment from. I don't want to say that I was the first person to start it back up, because that's kind of been ongoing since I mean, it goes back to like the 80s and 90s, but it kind of had a resurgence in the mid 10s around that same period, because music festivals had been like, I know Coachella tried it for a few years, and I heard it just didn't. Nobody wanted to do it again, and then a few local festivals had it, like in the LA area, and I did some of them to mixed results. But festivals are obviously a little more controlled, whereas Warped Tour is a touring fest. That happened. Well, so I toured for on and off for about a year and a half, opening for bands and doing music festivals. And you're right, it's the hardest thing to do, but it was also the most financially secure of the bunch. I made more money doing those than I did doing regular stand-up. And the way it all really happened was from one show. It almost sounds like a fairy tale. Like, that's very rare that it happens that way. But I did a storytelling show. There's a great comic and someone I'm friends with named Joe Sib who runs Side One Dummy, and which I'm not sure if they exist anymore.
They're not a label anymore. But they still have a back catalog.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I had heard. So Joe Sib started stand-up about, I want to say, like maybe a little less than 10 years ago. I could be wrong about that, but he started in LA and we became friends, and I totally fanned out when I met him in terms of like the Side One stuff, and we were getting booked on a lot of shows together. And he had me on his podcasts and stuff. He was doing storytelling shows at the Side One label, and they had like a very they always had like a dedicated group of people coming out, so it was a great show to do. And one of the shows he did was Warped Tour storytelling. So he had me, another comic named Grant Cotter, and then Chad from Newfound Glory, and Kevin Lyman, the head of Warped Tour, the founder of Warped Tour. And I had known Chad a little bit from prior to that. I met him just standing in line at the movies in LA. I introduced myself to him because I grew up in the same town as Newfound Glory, where they're from. And so we kind of became friends that way. Like, we just started following each other on social media, and just like here and there would chat. And then we did the show together and kind of became buds from there. Well, we became friends, and he asked me, he's like, well, do you want to come open for us? We want to try something new. So I was like, absolutely. There was like, no, I tried to like play it cool, but I don't think I did a great job of it. And so from that same show, I asked Joe Sib, I was like, hey, has Kevin ever done a comedy stage? And he said, no, he's had comics pop up in the acoustic tent from time to time, or maybe even just once. I might be misremembering that. And I was like, can we ask him? And he's like, yeah, I think he'd be open to it. So it turned out they had discussed it before, and Grant and myself talked to Kevin after, and he was like, this year's already booked. Like, as soon as Warped Tour ends, they're already booking the following year pretty much. They take like maybe 2 months off. So he asked, he was like, yeah, let's meet in a few months and talk about it. And then we did. And from that time, that's when the NFG tour started. That's where I met Kyle. And then.
So what were the crowds like on those tours? Like, were they, was it a rough time, or were they?
So something in retrospect, I didn't think about until all of it was done, was that Chad got the idea we both like talked about it for a while, and he thought the best thing would be for me to go up right before NFG performs. Like, not while they're doing sound check. They would give me like 10 to 15 minutes to perform, and then they would finish their sound check. And I asked him to introduce me, so that way it kind of acted as an endorsement. It would kind of make the audience pay attention.
Don't be a dick to this guy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He handled it. He was so great.
He's
about it.
cool.
He was like, hey man, if you he was like, if you guys don't like it, that's okay, but just don't be rude about it. And so it, depending on the night, usually it started well no matter what, and then depending on the kind of crowd it was, kind of dictated if it went well or not. I think the first show is really hazy to me. I remember it being like good for a little bit, and then as it got near the end, it kind of died down. What I remember distinctly about that one was a guy screamed out "You suck" in the middle of the whole thing, and I asked the audience to point him out, and then I had them all yell "You suck" at him on like the count of 3. So that felt great. And then I think, and then I remember the LA show was brutal. But I did the show in Vegas that was, I think, the last show, and I was just like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to go all out for this one. And it wasn't as well. It was on Halloween night, so the turnout wasn't as, it wasn't like a full house. and it was just the right amount of people to keep their attention. And in retrospect, I thought about it and I was like, maybe I should have performed when in between two of the other openers, maybe like to make it a little, there would have been like less of a crowd. Maybe it would have been easier for people to kind of pay attention, and the people who had been waiting there longer probably would have been more receptive to it, as opposed to like going on right before the headlining band. Everyone just wants to see the headliner at that point. So, when people start talking, when people start like, once 2-3 people start talking, everybody starts talking. So it's like, you kind of have to put a mental block on how it went. It going well is relative.
Yeah. So how are you dealing with being like off the road? Because it seems like, especially for a stand-up comedian, like it's among the very hardest people hit by all of this. Like, are you working on comedy? Or are you just taking a break, or?
So I'm lucky enough that I have a day job, and I have a day job that did not stop from the get-go. Like I've been working the whole time. So and it's a really good flexible comedy day job. So whenever I go on the road, or if I get a writing gig that takes me away for a few weeks.
Can you say what kind of job it is? You don't have to say the place, but.
No, it's just an administrative thing. It's nothing.
Okay.
It's nothing exciting or even worth being secretive about.
Okay.
But I like, as far as since then, I just do shows that are like Zoom, Instagram Live, anything that's like online. It's different. I don't know. I'm just now starting to like really miss it. I missed the fact that I was going to go on tour, because I had taken about 8, maybe even I'll say like a year off from like hard travel on the road. I'd only done a few days, just because I kind of burned out from the previous years doing festivals and stuff. And I was like really jazzed up to be like on the road for, I think it totaled out to like almost half the year. So
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer in that way. But at the same time, I was like, well, if it wasn't meant to happen, it wasn't meant to happen. So I also am enjoying the break and not having the pressure to do anything. I don't know, because I really had, one of the reasons I was going on tour was I was kind of just burned out on LA. Like not the scene, but like just being here a lot. I was like, okay, I need to like.
How many years have you been a stand-up?
April was my 11-year anniversary.
Oh, okay, so it's a long time.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. Yeah, and I've been in LA for just a little more than that. I'm hitting 12 years the end of this month.
Oh, okay. Where are you from originally?
South Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, not to brag.
Florida's doing great right now, I feel.
What's that?
Florida's doing great right now.
Yeah, I bet you wish you were there.
They got a hurricane. They got a peak in the pandemic. Disney's open.
And the best part is they're trucking through all of them as if none of it's happening.
Right.
That's where they really like.
Yeah, it's just another Tuesday.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like, yeah. Well, to be fair, hurricanes are like a weird thing where sometimes right when it touches down, it suddenly dissipates. Like very rarely does Fort Lauderdale and even Miami get hit with like the Hurricane Andrews or the ones that are like really well known. Those don't hit as often. Usually it's like not a false alarm, but it's not as bad as like you expect. So usually you're like, all right, I just got 3 days where I'm going to hang out at home, and you just really hope the power doesn't go out. That's all. That's the only like concern. As for Corona, on the other hand, I wish they didn't treat it like that, but alas, they are, and they are fucking firing on all cylinders.
If you had to do a stand-up set wearing a mask, would you do it, or do you think it's like too restrictive? Because so much of stand-up is like like expressive and yeah.
Right. I think it's kind of like, okay, so the way I've been thinking about it, because that's been on my mind a lot the past like 3 weeks, because people are starting to perform at like drive-ins and doing like front yard shows, and doing those, you can't approach them. It's the same way I look at like Zoom or IG live shows, where you can't just go in and do material and you can't power through it that way. You have to kind of like, you can still do your material, but I personally adjust it to whatever the scenario is. So like if I'm on a Instagram live show, I usually try to keep the host on as a conversationalist, because it gives a more natural way to kind of express it. So it ends up coming off as like a funny podcast probably.
Okay.
But I would rather have that than just trying to be like, look guys, the dating apps are hard, and then jumping into whatever bullshit I'm jumping into. You know, because dating apps are hard during Corona.
Yeah, right. Wow, you say what I think.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes
No one's matching
sometimes I really push a limit. Don't put me at the line. I'll fucking go past it.
Wow, you're one of those edgy all the time. Kyle, go ahead. You had something.
Oh, I was just gonna say you also have done a cruise ship tour, correct?
Yes, that was the culmination of that. God, I can't believe I left that part of the story out. When I was saying that like all of these shows I got all came from one night, it all kind of like stemmed from doing this one show. And yeah, so I opened for NFT for that round. And it was also, by the way, even though it was hard, you still have fun with it. And same thing with Warped Tour, which like nobody's there to see comedy, but usually they're stopping in because they want to sit in the tent where there's shade when it's blistering hot out. And so, you know, you kind of have fun with it. But both of those experiences were incredible for different reasons. One, I obviously got to open for one of my favorite bands. But two, touring on a tour bus is incredible. It's so much more comfortable than even flying. You just sleep on a fucking bus that's like a huge white noise machine with your own air conditioning inside a bunk. And
did your bus driver pick up hitchhikers like ours did?
What?
No, did you guys have that?
Yeah, when we did Warped Tour, we you know, it was our first bus tour ever, and one of two, I think. And we were just driving from Atlanta to Orlando, and our drummer like woke up in the middle of the night to go pee, and there was just like this middle-aged couple just sitting in the lounge, and then and he was just like in his underwear, and he's like and then he just went back to his bunk, and he like texted all of us when we were all sleeping, and we got it in the morning, and we were at the ground, so they were like so they were like, and we asked our driver about him. He's like, yeah, he was a minister. He showed me his minister ID. And I was like, that's not a thing.
Yeah, what the hell?
And then we're like, you know, what a couple of, you know, our girlfriends were out with us. Like all our money's like our whole life's on that bus.
Yeah.
Like, and we're like, you can't just like have people like on here. And we like tried to fire him, but it was like too late in the summer. So the only like to get any other drivers, because they were all like booked up. So the only option was to have him switch with another band on the Warped Tour with us. And we're like, we're not going to do that to another band like that's with us.
Yeah.
Like, so we just powered through with him. Robert.
That's a good tour to have the bus though, just because of the fucking weather. Like you have a place to like not be hot. That's why I was grateful for it. But like, yeah, we had a guy on the bus. Our bus driver was really cool, but one of the guys on the bus, because we were on a production bus, that they just put like a few of the comics and a few of the acoustic tent people on the same bus, which was great. Everybody got along really well. One guy was like a big weed connection, I guess. Like a lot of people would come on the bus to smoke, and so that brought some very characters on the bus. But yeah, after all of that, I stayed on the road for most of that year, and then I got asked to do the Parahoy cruise, which is Paramore's cruise, and that was the most fun that I've had doing, like top 3 of my favorite shows ever, period. Because you're performing in a dedicated space, but like everybody's there to have a great time, and you have to do like an activity with the band at some point. So we had to judge a belly slap contest with Paramore, and so all of their fans get to see who you are, and they know who you are. Like the first show, before anyone knew who we were, had maybe half the auditorium was full, and it's a big auditorium on that cruise ship. But the second show, after they saw us at that, it was like, I think 90% full, and I think it's like a 600 seating capacity venue. So it was like both shows were super fun, but for different ways. One was like a low pressure show, and the other one was just a total blast. So it was great, and also you're just like eating free food and, you know, swimming in a fucking pool on a cruise ship, and then going to Mexico and hanging out with a bunch of bands. It's yeah, it's great. It's kind of the culmination of like having to perform at a music festival, but in a dedicated space where people are into it. And it was only 3.5 days, so you didn't get like that thing where you wanted to get off the cruise ship. Like by the time I did the last performance, I think we were docking in like 12 hours. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to go to bed and I'll wake up back home.
That's awesome. Well, Eli, thanks so much for being on. It was really fun talking to you, and really appreciate you being on the show. You can check out Eli on Twitter and Instagram for both at Eli Olsberg, and then you can see it on the ticker here, which is generating positive reviews. It's the first time using a ticker, so in the comments they're generating it. Do you have stuff on? You said you had an album out. Was that your album or?
No. Actually, I don't have an album yet.
Okay.
I do just the podcast. You can still check out the older episodes. Closure, the podcast that never ends, and Pod is a Woman. Both will be coming back in some like form at some point. It's just going to be a little while, but yep, that's pretty much it. And thank you guys for having me. This was a super fun discussion.
Yeah, no, and I hope you like. Is your goal to book Ariana Grande for one of the episodes for the final episode? Because that would be amazing.
If we ever book her, that is the final episode, no question about it. Even if we still have more tracks on the album to go, we'll just include that on. There's no, that's it. And then at that point I'm gonna quit comedy too.
Okay.
It's nice meeting all of you guys.
Yeah, nice meeting you too. Thanks so much, Eli.
So nice meeting you.
And great seeing you. Thanks for doing this. Hopefully I can see you soon.
That was great. Yeah, it was. It was fun. Yeah, that is like a very alternative route. You know what I mean? Like I know like a number of comics, and Jake.
I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah. Just doing. Jake? Have you ever opened for like a music show or anything like that? An unusual event?
No.
Yeah, it's like usually it's like clubs and whatnot. So yeah, I give him props for that.
Yeah, and his show that he curates here is very cool. I hope it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big sign that says "Sex is back."
Yeah. I thought I saw your guest in the room, but I don't see him anymore.
I was just texting him. That's why I was.
The musical guest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like Paramore. One thing I should have asked him that was, has anyone here been on a music cruise? I know a bunch of kids do them.
It's a super popular trend.
Yeah, Paramore and Tegan and Sarah have done it.
Yeah,
really?
And like then Flog and Molly does one. Like all these like tons of bands do it. Weezer, I think Weezer was like maybe one of the first ones to bring back like start the trend. But no, I have never. I would love to perform at one.
Yeah,
but
I wonder if everyone on the show, if everyone on the show, like on the cruise, is there for the band, or is it just a certain amount? Because he was saying it's a theater.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they have a bunch of setups, and the bands do different types of performance. So it's usually like super fans of that band because like it still is going to cost you like the price of a cruise. So
yeah, well, like Tegan and Sarah did like a True Colors one where like it was like there were a bunch of performers. I don't know if there were comedians involved with it too, but it was I want to say Cyndi Lauper. Like it was one of those things where like the True Colors type like tour, they did a cruise ship.
Yeah, we have a question from the comments from Tom Schultz. He's like, when you do live stream shows on Zoom, how do you make sure people don't record the set, e.g. using Mozilla to record the shows? Basically, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. I don't know if you said that. We're actually using a different service, StreamYard, but there's a bunch of services that let you rip. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know if we rise to the level. I mean, some of our musical guests, yeah, like people will, go on and, people want to record them. But also the audio quality, it's like, it doesn't rise to the level like someone's going to record this and start putting it up on BitTorrent, It's like, hey,
I think it's
publicity. I'm pro torrenting and bootlegging. I know this is going to come back to bite me in the ass one day.
I think it's just, during this time you just want your stuff out there, and if people are recording and rewatching it, then
well, we can ask our next musical guest. Why don't you introduce him, Kyle?
All right, this is my friend Luke. He plays in the band Better Off. from Nashville.
Hello.
Hi, Luke.
What's up, Luke?
How's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing?
We just
I'm
had a
good.
Hey,
question.
Luke.
Hi, Luke. We just had a question in the comments. Someone said, what do you call it? Do you worry about people like recording the stream, like the musical performances, and like sharing them? And we're like, I mean, I guess you could, but I mean, is that something you worry about as a performer, Luke?
Not really. I mean, any content is good content, I guess. But
Okay.
yeah,
So
I don't
you're
know.
giving permission. You're giving permission.
Record it.
Yeah. All right.
I don't get paid either way.
Yeah.
Well, the CEO of Spotify says that you need to start making music more than once every 4 years.
Yeah, I'm not a SoundCloud. SoundCloud rappers. I agree. They should make a new 1.5-minute long song every chance they get. But that's not really feasible for most artists, I don't think.
Yeah. This is your is this your first streaming performance?
It is. Mhm.
Nice. Because when I texted you said that sounds awkward as fuck, but I'm down.
Yeah. I didn't know how to say no. I just couldn't do it. But
Well,
It's
I'm
hard
also
to say no.
It's an
It's hard to-
experience.
Yeah.
it is an experience.
And it's less awkward than you think. It's like it's conversational, just like we were talking about in the pre-show. Just like it's chill and hanging out. And Eli, you had mentioned you were on the same tour together, and he mentioned that too. I guess that was on.
Yeah.
which I didn't book accordingly, but then after I did, I was like, wait a second.
Happy accident.
Yeah.
There's a theme.
Yeah,
So are you in Nashville right now? You said
I am. Yeah.
Nashville's another one. Florida and Nashville, man.
There was just a big scandal. This
Huge
this
party.
house had a party. Yeah,
Yeah. Apparently, Miley Cyrus may have been there.
What?
that's kind of cool.
The pictures are insane. It looks like something out of it looks like it's Las Vegas and it's a house.
Yeah, it was like hundreds of people, I guess. More than that, I don't know. I didn't see any pictures, but yeah, I've heard there was a huge deal happening. So maybe
That's
too soon.
That's also where the Chase Rice thing happened in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Nashville likes to party. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chase Rice had his big old outdoor concert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
catch in on it, Luke. Dude.
I should
Bring down the whole scene.
party at my house tonight.
Yeah.
$5 a person.
Yeah. So how's the pandemic affected your band songwriting?
Not at all. We don't do much. Like as far as touring goes, we don't do much. But recording it, I mean, we're around each other anyway. We were just in the studio. I mean, it's pretty easy to keep that going through all this. But
Yeah, totally.
yeah, that's basically it. It's just I kind of like the pandemic because I can do whatever I want every single day. Go for a bike ride, kind of relaxing. But
Are you an introvert?
I am definitely an introvert. It was like a solution to the problem of going to work and interacting with people constantly.
I can relate.
So yeah, so I appreciate the pandemic for that. At least.
Yeah. That is a one.
It's one perspective.
Yeah, like I love that part. Don't like the dying.
No, I'm not a fan of that either. But
Yeah.
No, but I completely agree with you. Like it's kind of like a in a way like a restart, a refresh.
I don't. There's never been a time where everybody has a forced refresh moment, And
Yeah.
I appreciate this time for that, without a doubt.
Mine is usually Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
It's like, so what are you doing with your life?
Art, Mom. I'm doing art.
Yeah. It's improv. Are you getting paid yet? No.
No.
Nothing but improv. Just wait.
Well, good thing you have a regular job. Yeah, that's good. Anyway. So with your band, what's it like? Because you're not a country band. People might assume that.
Not yet.
Nashville. And I think people don't know Nashville's music scene is pretty, it's not just country. Is there a reason why you chose Nashville specifically to live, or?
No, I just grew up here.
Okay.
But Nashville has a really big, like, heavy music scene.
Mhm.
It's a lot of metal, hardcore, punk bands all over the place. Like, I'd say the cool venues are like, it's mostly metal bands and punk bands going through there. So, and I love that about Nashville. It's like you have country, and then you walk down the street and you have chaos happening in a room somewhere. So, yeah, Miley Cyrus is at the cool venue.
Have you run into Miley Cyrus, like, you know, at a riot, or, you know?
I haven't, but you know, she has a song called I don't know what it's called, but she has a lyric where she says, "My best friend Leslie says she's being Miley, and I went to high school with Leslie."
Oh,
yeah,
that's a claim to fame.
Yeah, that's my claim to fame.
I was in Nashville this past September for the first time, and I loved it, and I really want to go back.
It's a special place, without a doubt.
It's a very good time.
There's not really another city like Nashville. So like, Austin is pretty close to what Nashville's like, but Nashville is just has a lot more history to what's going on there.
Yeah.
How would you?
I would say that
good call, sorry.
Nashville, like the band I was in before Fireworks, like we just did DIY tours, and Nashville was like really the only place outside of Michigan that we could get to care about us.
Yeah,
it was always a treat to go through there.
Yeah, music shows are different in Nashville than they are in a lot of places. So it's like people really appreciate what's going on. So that's cool.
Awesome. Well, do you want to play a song for us?
Sure. We reach to the wall here.
I was saying that's so cool. You just like, this is a real musician. He just has music. His job is on his walls.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the name of the song?
It's called Bad Habit.
Okay. And everybody else would be great.
All right.
Let me just tune up real quick here. To divide is all we know. If the tide was not so high, we wouldn't show. I was too afraid to sound my tongue. But at the end of it all, inside my head's the only one. 'Cause I have a bad habit of taking my foot and putting it where my mouth is. I never had what I wanted to get. The past is always taken to clear out the room. Pain is a loop, I can't keep going down. To grow and climb the vine is all we found. That helped us get our feet off of the ground. I can twist and I can turn to fall asleep. My dreams have twisted off. I can't turn my thoughts at all, because I have a bad habit of it. Taking my heart and putting it where my sleeve is. I never had what I wanted again. The past is always taken, clear out the room. The pain's a loop, I can't keep coming down. Taking my mind and putting it where the gutter is.
All right.
Yay!
That was awesome.
Hey, thank you.
That was
thank
really
you.
good.
That was a very like rock star thing where you're playing and then you pulled out your earpiece. I was like, oh, he's
Yeah,
doing it.
I couldn't hear myself.
Yeah, I was like, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. Angel voice.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounded great. Can you tell us a little bit about what the song is, or what inspired you to write it, or how it came together?
It's just about having bad habits and where they come from, you know. So yeah, I mean that's basically the gist of it. But I think everybody's got their coping mechanisms, and that song's about that. So
Yeah, it's relevant at this time. How old are you when you wrote your first song?
first song, really young. My mom was a songwriter, so
Oh, okay.
I was just
wow.
cranking it out from the very beginning.
Now, did she work? Is that why you were in Nashville to begin with? Was she work in like the Nashville system, or?
She was like semi-involved.
Okay.
So Nashville's got like a singer-songwriter scene, and she would do like singer-songwriter rounds where they like sing a song and then they talk about it, and then the next person goes, and
Oh, that's cool.
it's like 4 people in a circle basically. But she would do that kind of thing, and I think the fact that and it was never a job; it was just like a hobby. So I think that's probably why I keep going, is because I've seen her do it basically her whole life.
That's awesome.
Have you ever performed with your mom?
I haven't. She sang, or actually, I recorded a song that she wrote. That's
That's cool.
Oh.
One of my favorite memories with you is we were on tour together, and I think your first full length hadn't come out. You had just signed to Equal Vision Records, and you were talking to us about it, and we're like, "What are you gonna call it?" And you're like, "We're gonna call it Milk," and you did. And the cover art was just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
I just thought all of that together was just great.
That's our sense of humor for sure. It's this really supposedly important thing for us, and then we just name it something stupid. So
yeah, your debut to national
on a real label. Yeah.
Is the entire band in Nashville, or are you guys spread out right now?
Everyone's in Nashville.
Yeah.
We've been playing music together for a long time. So.
Oh, okay. And go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, and the producer.
Yeah, he did. I was gonna say, have you guys gotten together to jam or anything during the pandemic, or?
No, just record really, but still, I mean, that's kind of the same thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Just getting together and coming up with ideas. So.
Kyle, were gonna say something before the internet cut you off?
Oh, did it cut me off?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Your producer that worked on that record and maybe some other stuff was Arun. He plays in the band Saves the Day, which Chris was on our show.
Oh yeah.
And he's also from Michigan, or Detroit area.
Yeah, so, Detroit. Mm-hmm.
So you have a connection there.
Yeah.
Our city that I
Detroit,
abandoned.
Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you want to do another song for us?
Another one? Sure.
Reaches over to the wall again.
I only practiced one song, so this might be interesting.
Okay, or you can play a cover, whatever.
Whatever you want
to succeed.
I got one.
All right. And can you tell us the name of the song and a little bit about what's it about?
The song's called "Company," and it is about appreciating the people in your life. Is a short, sweet way.
All right, cool. Check it out, everybody.
I don't ever want to see you like that. When you're crying on your knees, begging God to send an angel for some help. I'd rather take the pain from myself. Life can get so crazy. Don't you think you made that to me? I know you would never mean it like that. Things get out of hand when you look like it's crashing on you now. I can take the chaos on myself. Life can get so crazy. Don't you think you made like to me? It's hard to see how life is. We ought to have some joy.
Awesome.
All right. That was great, man. With no practice.
You just
Oh,
had
okay,
it in
here
you.
it is. Yeah. I said that was great with no practice, too. Oh, I think we lost the connection. I don't know. Can we hear you? Say something, Luke. No,
No.
for some reason you're muted. We could hear you fine, and then when you put your earpieces back, you came back. Try now. Say something. Nothing. Okay. Well, you know what? I guess we'll take that as a signal to have you on, Luke. Thanks so much. Are you guys on Spotify? You are. I think you are, right?
Yeah, I sent
yeah.
I put the link in our chat, so we can put it out.
Okay. Thanks so much for being on. It was great. It wasn't. I didn't think it was awkward at all.
No.
I think you did a great job.
Yeah. So
I don't know what's going on. I wish I could hear your voice one more time, but
I know you guys will have to talk afterwards and
yeah,
cuddle on the phone.
but we got what we needed from you. You know.
But Luke, thanks so much for being on. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Luke.
Well, I went dead at the right time, I guess.
Yeah, we've had issues before, but that couldn't have happened at a better time.
Yeah.
It is insane down here right now.
The rain, you mean?
Yeah, the storm is like nutso right now.
And you live in a high rise, so I always think that's interesting to be there.
You literally can't escape it. You can see everything coming. Oh my god!
Oh, I saw the lightning. Lightning and the thunder.
Did you hear the thunder?
Oh yeah, I did.
Did you?
I heard it. I saw the lightning.
Andy too.
Jake, where's your ice cream? Did it come yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the freezer already. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
Next week you'll eat it.
Hell no, you're gonna eat that
No,
as soon as this damn show's done.
Save it for a whole week. So yeah, I guess that's the show. I think it was a success using StreamYards for the first time.
I'm liking this.
Yeah. It's we
I like
got
this.
Tom Schultz originally eye rolled very hard at the ticker, but then he grew to love it.
What was his issue? I made that.
He thought it was like a news thing at first. His brain.
Then he was like, "Oh, it's promoting the bands. We're doing a good thing. We're doing the Lord's work." So
yeah.
Andy might have lost her internet. She's downtown too, so maybe the hard weather was hitting her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the show.
Well, everyone, thanks for coming.
Thanks for watching. Episode 20 coming up next week. 5
Yes,
months.
and what episode number is Mask Off this Friday? I think you guys are just a week behind us. I thought.
We'll be on episode 16, but I said 18 by mistake on this past episode.
That's so funny. He said it and swore up and down that he's like 18. They're like, no, 15. He's like, no. He's like, fuck y'all. I said 18. Or I said 15. You guys bullshit. And he clearly said 18.
Yeah, I went back and looked at it. I was like, oh, man, I said 18 like a motherfucker. So,
yeah.
I thought you were fucking with me.
No, I came in. I
thought you were too.
Late, so I missed that part.
No, but yeah, it's episode 16 this Friday. Mask Off.
Oh yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot as usual to everyone for tuning in.
Yes.
Telling
Thank
your
you.
friends, telling everybody, and to the people here, Kyle, Katie, Jake, Andy, who got disconnected maybe because of the weather. And then shout out to Kate and Nick out there, IRL.
Mhm.
And we'll catch you next week. See you later, everybody.
All right.
Peace.
Love you.